Welcome to International Love Story, the podcast about long distance and multicultural relationships. My name is Christina.
My name is Nacho.
And I am from Germany.
And I'm from Argentina. So we met on Tinder in July 2015, right after I just moved to Miami. What started actually as a touch and go, as we say in my homeland, then evolved right into a relationship. In March 2017, we got married. Tina just moved to the US just a couple of weeks later after we got married.
It went faster than expected, honestly, because by the way, Nacho is pulling himself mate in between, so typical Argentinian. You might hear it in the background of the podcast as well, because we're recording it for the podcast. So don't get confused. It's just Nacho drinking mate. Anyway, no, but it went faster than expected, actually. So the papers just took a few weeks. The interview went fast, everything went smooth, and 8 weeks after we got married, around about, I moved to Miami. But this is actually not what we're going to talk about today. So if you would like to learn more about how we got to know each other, I'm gonna link the podcast episode below where we talk about our relationship. It's actually a few more episodes. So if you would like to learn more, just click the link in the description. But yeah, as for today, we would like to summarize a little bit about what we did the last 2 years. What have we been up to? What did we do? What happened the last few months? I mean, it happened a lot. Like, actually, it's difficult for me sometimes to keep track. And sitting down with you now, thank you so much for taking your time. He's a little bit shy, but I basically dragged him in front of the camera as well today. We had some hurdles to overcome the past few years. We still do, and there are a lot of things you have to take into consideration when dating multicultural, when dating someone from another country, from another continent. And not only do we have multicultural differences, but also there's this language barrier, all this coming together. For quite a while, we thought that we are unicorns, until when, everything that went on with the first wave of COVID hit, we spontaneously more or less decided to start a podcast and to tell our story in this podcast.
You discovered over these past 2 years interviewing so many couples that there's people out there doing it too.
I mean, when we started the podcast, there wasn't so much online about multicultural and long distance relationships.
That's true.
And it grew a lot the past few months, especially with the first wave of COVID. I feel like a lot of couples brought their experience out there.
We had a few projects, right, in 2019. Well, I think the van project came first before the podcast, right? I mean, at least the idea was there almost since we left Miami.
We have to go back a little bit, actually. I mean, we said we're going to summarize the past 2 years, but what happened is, so anyway, Nacho and I, we moved together in Miami. We went to Buenos Aires end of 2019 because he lost his job. With that, our visa expired. But again, this is everything we're talking about.
I mean, I didn't lose it. I don't know what I bought it.
What? Your visa? Oh. Anyway, that was a fiction. So this being said, we had to leave the country. We moved to Germany. And our idea was in 2019 to live in Germany for just a couple of months, which didn't work out at all. We moved to my parents' house, which was an experience, definitely, but we'll get back to that later. When we moved to Germany, we already had the idea to buy a van.
Yeah. I mean, all of this comes to this point, to this recording, because we are living in a van. I don't know if you can notice, right here is our bed, right here is our table where we eat and work, and behind us there's a forest, and I believe there's a lake or fjord. I'm not sure.
It's a fjord.
Anyway,
It's a fjord.
it's a fjord. Yeah,
We're in
okay.
Norway.
Yeah, we are in Norway.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how did we got here, right? So again, we were living in your parents' house. We had several projects going on. I was working as a freelancer. Then after COVID hit, I felt that doing van life around Latin America could be a little bit unsafe for us, but I lived through that experience for 25 years. Yeah, Latin America has a lot to offer for sure. Be a van, it must be wonderful, but I just didn't want to risk it.
Yeah, as you hear, our original idea was when going to Germany to stay just for a couple of months, to recharge batteries, me to see my family, like before we start the big trip, which originally was to start it in the US and then from there on going all the way down to Panama. And then again, COVID hit, plans changed. We were very concerned about our security, especially in Latin America, as things like the news went crazy, you know, the whole world was upside down. And at that point, we thought, okay, maybe it's just going to last a couple of months. Germany went into lockdown in March 2020 for a couple of weeks.
And then we said, like, okay, let's wait 2 months.
Yeah.
And in 2 months, we just buy a van then. And in the meantime, we were planning like the trip. We even had a map. We even decided which countries to skip because of safety concern. But yeah, after all, it just became a never-ending story, right? The lockdown.
So we changed plans completely.
Yeah.
And decided to convert a van in Germany and to do a trip through Europe. So in June 2020, we decided to buy a van. We found a van quite quick, which we're sitting in right now. So it's a Renault Master. And in June 2020, we thought it just might take 3 months to convert a van into a camper van. When you moved to Germany together with me, like we moved into my parents' house, we struggled quite a bit, I would say, because it's always difficult to adjust and to go from having your privacy to back home in my hometown, which is very small, under the roof of my parents, ladi all this. And then we found this amazing van, this Renault Master. We changed our plans. And we thought, again, it will just take up to 4 months, so 3 to 4 months after seeing plenty of YouTube videos until we are ready for the next chapter in our lives.
As soon as we finish building the van, and that's a little bit difficult for me to say, we finished building the van because honestly, all credits due to credits are due. I mean, she is the Handifrau in diesen Beziehungen. So she is the handy woman in this relationship. All you can see, it's made by Tina. So I just did the cables and electrical, but you can see it. So
you can see the lights in the background.
So in April 2021, actually, when we finished building the van.
Little side note.
Yeah.
It took 9 months. So this is why Franca, the name of our camper. ¿Cómo?
Franca la banca si la banca.
Franca la banca si la banca. Is our baby because like 9 months to build all this.
Right. So after 9 months, we were on the road. May 2021, we started. I just had started my new job, signed my first German contract, and you know, it was definitely the kick I needed. The kick I needed to kind of like start a new chapter, right? I started a new job. I started a new adventure with the person I love. We really kick-started the trip in a really good way. Although it was a little bit complicated to adjust on just a few square meters, right? On 6 square meters. It's I mean, I always say that, okay, we are downsizing. We started in a room in Miami with my roommates. And then we went to live alone to a 50 square meter apartment. And then we went to live in a bedroom in your parents' house. And now we live in a 6 square. So prepare for box life 2023.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was difficult to adjust. I think you and I can agree on that.
Yeah. We fought a lot. Last year was the year of fighting. Because the problem is, if you see videos, I mean, this is something I always mention on Instagram as well. If you see videos and like all those tutorials on how to convert a van into a camper van, you get the idea that this is super romantic and it's gonna be amazing and it's a one-time life experience, which obviously it is, and we really appreciate that we came that far. But I'd say 25% of the time it's romantic, and the rest of the time it's also a lot of work. You do have to adjust a lot of circumstances. We're both working full-time in here as well, on this table we're sitting at right now. So, you know, and it's normal that especially after what we've been through after living in Germany for longer than expected, like our nerves were already like, we were already very tensed, very tense, and everything that basically emotional wise that came together during the time we lived in Germany, which we had to adjust a lot to my parents, obviously, which I love my family a lot, but it broke down the moment we started the trip, and we were fighting and disagreeing a lot on like little things. And I think last year, as soon as we started the van trip, taught us a lot, and it was great. We really enjoyed it.
I think it brought a lot of maturing into the relationship and into ourselves, personally, professionally.
I think you had to deal with quite a lot because I saw him being successful, working full time, and I was like, okay, what's my purpose here? And that's also what added some oil into the fire.
And
oh,
and now you're working almost full time.
I'm happy. I'm super happy with things are developing right now. I couldn't be happier. It's
you're busy.
Like, I'm very busy. Yeah, I wish the days would be longer, but
well, they longer in Norway. No?
Yeah.
Up until 2 a.m. is day.
Gets day again at 5 a.m.
But I know what you mean. So moving on, and just to encapsulate this part of the episode. That was
last year.
I want to tell people what we visited, please. It's like we did a lot of Germany.
We spent 5 weeks in Germany. I was like, wow, that's way too much, but he's just super into the German culture and those cute little cities we have in Germany and villages. And I was amazed by myself. I was like, wow, that's a completely different side of my own country. Like, I didn't know that we have all this. But he showed me actually a lot of my, like, I'm living in Germany since ever. I was born in Germany, and I have to meet an Argentinian to show me the beauty of Germany, which is crazy to think about, honestly.
We went to the Czech Republic with a quick trip through Czech Republic. Then we did Slovakia. What was it afterwards? Hungary. After that, Romania, which was also great. I mean, it started kind of shaky, but
because the third wave hit at the time. And then with the whole vaccination thing going on.
We actually got vaccinated in Romania.
Yeah. This is why we spent 6 weeks there instead of 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
We got vaccinated there.
Afterwards, Bulgaria, which was also really good. We ended last year in Greece.
We parked directly at the beach, and the waves were so high, and everything was just like, the weather was perfect. Again, great food. We gained a lot of weight in Greece.
Let's move on to end of the year 2021. Where were we?
In Argentina.
Correcto.
Buenos Aires.
Yeah, end of November.
And I also, which is interesting, I was like, okay, I don't really want to go because I want to keep on traveling around. And then when we went to Argentina and I had to leave again 2.5 months later, so we spent Christmas and New Year's there.
Yeah.
I didn't want to leave Argentina. I was like, no, I have to go. He stayed a little bit longer, spending some time with his family and friends and taking care of some family business as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed it so much. It's
Yeah.
like, I mean, I have been a couple of times already to Argentina. We've explored the Iguazu Falls together. Salta. The first time I actually went to Argentina, I went alone, hoping that he might join me. That was when we were just friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I was already like blown away. But then spending 2.5 months in Argentina, it's crazy to think about it nowadays because I've never thought that it will come that far. But I would even say that I left piece of my heart in Argentina. It's a completely different mentality. People are so open-minded. People are so friendly. People are so like, they would give the last thing they have in order to help you, which is culture-wise completely different to Germany. And I've experienced all this very intense while being there for a couple of weeks.
Ich hatte meine Zeit in Deutschland gewohnt und ich habe mein Deutsch perfekter machen. Kannst du hören. Und ja, jetzt ist deine Zeit.
Yeah.
So now it's your turn to learn Argentinian.
Argentinian.
Not Spanish.
No.
Argentinian.
We see how
El
this goes.
lunfardo.
See how this goes.
Well, we had gone to Argentina several times during our stay in Miami. As we found a way to go for free, it was quite the experience.
I don't know if you should say that.
No. Well, I mean, if you want to know more, you can reach out to us, but I'm not going to go into details how we did it. But interestingly enough, like last year's November to end of February was the longest I stayed in Argentina after 8 years of living abroad. 8 years? No, 7 years of living abroad. But I think this time we actually enjoyed it more, kind of like settling.
It felt like living there for me. It was like, that's our life now. And again, leaving Argentina after that experience was very, very difficult, even for me. And I'm not from Argentina, I'm German. Our cultures are so different, but it felt like, wow, this is my home. I feel like, I mean, obviously Germany is somehow my home, but after that time living there for so long, Argentina was more home to me than Germany, like at least feeling wise, and that was, I've never thought that this will happen to me at some point, but it did, which I'm very grateful for. I mean, we spent so much time in Germany together, which was amazing. It had, as mentioned, we had to deal with several circumstances. We didn't plan for all this, but the time while we were living in Germany from beginning of 2019 to, let me think, June 2020
until May 2021 when we started the trip.
Yeah, so more than 2 years. Was, after all, was a great experience as well, because I do have 3 siblings.
True that.
And I'm very close. So I have 2 brothers and 1 sister, and I'm very close to my sister, and like close to my brothers as well. But during that time, I was able to rebuild a connection between my brothers, because again, I was 17 years old when I started working, and I was 17 years old also when I moved out. And I had my own life. I would obviously see my siblings at family occasions, but then suddenly living at home again, I was able to reconnect a lot with my siblings, especially with my brothers. So we do created a strong bond also, Nacho and my siblings, which is crazy to think about. So those 2 years, they were crazy, but I was also able to reconnect with my family on a different level. I was lucky enough to be there when my sister gave birth, so I became an auntie for the first time, a couple of months later. So I actually a little bit more than 1 year later, she gave birth to a second child, and I was also there for that, you know. And all in all, it has benefits as well that our plans didn't work out as we originally planned it to play out, because if we would have been in the US and in Latin America at that time, I would have missed out on all this. So that's basically the time in Germany, and then the time we lived in the camper last year, which was, as Nacho explained already, was an adventure itself already. And yeah, then the time in Argentina, where I realized that my heart is there as well, so that this is home for me as well. And
now we're here.
Now we are here.
Now we're here. We're in Norway since 3 days, actually, not so long. This year's trip is focused on being more connected with nature, I think, and seeing all the wonders that Scandinavia has to offer, right? Around about the first week of May this year, we entered Denmark and saw the Scandinavian countries. We did Sweden, or at least South and Mid Sweden, in about 3 weeks. And yeah, now we're here.
Yeah.
Now we're here, and what's the plan?
We'll spend 6 weeks in total in Norway. And then after those 6 weeks, we will cross through the north of Sweden. Then we might do Finland.
Yeah, depending on current circumstances.
Exactly, because the original idea was also to go down through
Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia.
But we might not do it after all.
And Poland, and then back into Germany.
But it might be that we don't do this, and we just do a little bit of Finland instead, and then the east coast of Sweden to go all the way back down to Germany again, because we have to be in Germany end of September.
Yeah, we have to be in Germany end of September, as the idea is to fly early October into Brazil. Brazil, Brazil. Yeah,
keep
party.
On. You can also
It's
sing
like
a
that.
German Schlager if you want to, because he's always annoying me with that. Yes, we will fly to Brazil for a wedding. To make it short version.
We'll do a stopover, a little touch and go in Buenos Aires, probably like a day or two, and then back to Germany to finish the trip. But what are we going to do? It's not decided yet, no? I mean,
we will set the van. We might go to Portugal before to enjoy a little bit of Portugal as well when it's not too crowded. Yeah, and we see what next year is going to offer us. We don't have a plan yet, but as we know, things, they will just develop the way they did in the past. If we are going to settle, when, how, no idea. That's up to the universe, I guess. We stopped planning everything in detail because it's not gonna work out, definitely.
No.
Yeah, if you ask me, like, because when Nacho and I, when we met, and we were always like talking about our future plans, and I was like, oh, I want to have kids when I'm around 30 years old. You know, I'm 30. How old am I? Did I turn 31 or 30? I turned 31. Oh God. I just forgot how old I am. I turned 31 in April. So it's still gonna take a couple of months, years, until we get to a point where we build a family, and you know, all those things you imagine when you're 25 years old, they didn't work out, at least not for me. Not just a little bit more relaxed when it comes to that. So after all, we were like, okay, let's just take life the way it comes to us, and in the end we will do the best out of the situation. And also it's proof that for us it did work out. We are, at least I am, very happy how things are currently, and I'm also very happy how things are developing right now with everything going on. Are you happy?
I think I am.
Okay.
I think I am. I am satisfied with my work. I'm satisfied with the trip we are doing. I think we are definitely very lucky, and there's a saying in Argentinian Spanish that goes, si te gusta el durazno, bancate la pelusa, and it means If you like peaches, you have to deal with the core. It's kind of like, okay, if you, for example, in our case, if you like to travel around, then you have to deal with 6 square meters.
So I think it's safe to say that we enjoy life
Mm.
and we see what's gonna come next year, where we'll be.
I mean, it's clear that we can't have a family in 4 wheels.
If we could,
We could.
it would work.
You wanna?
Why not?
Okay, let's go. You're gonna. Yeah.
I think so.
3 minutes later.
3 minutes later. And 9 months later, the next baby. Baby number 2 next to Franca. 9.
No, we'll sell the van. We'll go to our next destination and we will establish ourselves probably. Let's go see the field.
Let's go. We're gonna check out the area here. Thank you so much for watching today and for listening to the podcast. And yeah, feel free to ask us further questions on Instagram or here in the YouTube description below. Just drop a question, whatever you would like to know. Maybe we're gonna do it a second time, we'll see. And yeah, with this being said,
don't forget to subscribe. If you like the video, thumbs up.
And see you next time.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.